Welcome to You Mother Truckers podcast. Buckle up, because we're taking a pit stop into a couple of truly off-the-wall flash fiction stories that you, our incredible listeners, sent our way. Get ready for some bizarre twists and moments that will just leave you scratching your head.
That's right. We've got two tales today that really, showcase how reality can throw you the ultimate curveball, things you just couldn't predict.
Okay, so first up, let's plunge into Cat Via's Demon. This flash fiction story is about two teenagers, Lydia and Ethan.
Right.
They decided their attic was like the perfect place for a little occult experimentation. Their mission: summon a spirit of vigilance.
It really sets the scene, doesn't it? The darkened attic, hushed whispers. They're clearly aiming for that dramatic, maybe slightly rebellious teenage thing.
Absolutely.
Sure.
But instead of some, shadowy guardian angel materializing, their ritual was spectacularly interrupted by a scrawny ginger tomcat bursting into their carefully drawn circle.
Talk about anticlimactic. The initial disappointment of Lydia and Ethan, you can really feel it in the story. They've gone to all this effort, right? Built up the mood, and then this very ordinary creature just wanders in, and Ethan's immediate worry about his mom finding out, it adds this touch of grounded reality, amidst their supernatural goals. It's a funny mix.
It is. But hold on, because the story takes a seriously wild turn. Their disappointment is pretty short-lived, because suddenly there's this blood-curdling scream from downstairs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, followed by that unmistakable smell of burning hair.
Yikes.
And then visual confirmation. Bursts of flame erupting on the landing. It seems their summoning might have attracted something all right, just maybe not what they intended.
What's fascinating there is that sudden shift, isn't it? From the totally mundane, the cat, to the very real, very dangerous demon showing up. It's a stark reminder that sometimes the unexpected can lead right into the truly extraordinary.
And what happens next is just, you kind of have to hear to believe it. Yeah. This random, skinny cat, fluffy, seemingly completely unbothered by demonic flames and screaming, you'd expect any animal to bolt, right?
Totally. Run for the hills.
But instead, Fluffy just acts.
And the description of the fight is almost, absurdly ordinary. A flash of fur and claws, a simple hiss. It's not some epic, magical battle.
No glowing swords here.
Nope. It's a very physical, very cat-like reaction.
Mm-hmm.
And then the unbelievable part, a claw straight to the demon's shadowy face.
I know. This terrifying demon, surrounded by fire, supposedly this being of immense power, defeated by a well-aimed swipe from a common house cat. And just like that, the demon lets out this final shriek and just vanishes. Poof. Into thin air.
Leaving behind a totally unfazed Fluffy, just calmly checking out the smoldering carpet.
Like he's thinking, right, what's for dinner? Almost as if he's dealt with this kind of thing before.
Yeah, the reaction of Lydia and Ethan afterwards really nails the sheer absurdity of it all. They're terrified, obviously, but there's also this, hysterical laughter. It's the kind of event that's so unbelievable it almost short-circuits your brain,
Exactly. They faced a demon, and their savior was the cat they were initially so annoyed by.
It's just perfect.
And the story's aftermath is just brilliant. Forget your usual, firefighters or whatever. The town of Elmwood erects a stone carving in the town square, dedicated to Fluffy.
The protector of Elmwood.
Complete with a wreath and an inscription. You really can't make this stuff up.
It makes you wonder, though, how communities process events that just defy explanation, right? They needed a narrative, a symbol of their salvation, maybe. And Fluffy, the most tangible player in this whole bizarre drama, he became that symbol. It kind of speaks to our human need to find meaning, even in total chaos.
Oh, absolutely. And Fluffy's life takes a major turn, too.
Right.
He goes from, random stray to pampered celebrity.
Dining on prime cuts of meat.
Treated with absolute reverence. Meanwhile, Lydia's just left in this state of perpetual disbelief and probably amusement at their feline savior.
It really makes you think, what are the actual odds? A random cat saving a town from a demon? It feels, statistically impossible.
Doesn't it just? But it certainly stretches the bounds of probability, and it highlights that delightful unpredictability that flash fiction can really nail. Makes you consider maybe heroism can pop up in the most unexpected places.
Definitely. You just never know.
All right, let's shift gears entirely for our next pit stop. We're moving from the supernatural to the surprisingly chaotic world of The Good Crash.
Okay.
This flash fiction story features two other teenagers, Max and Anya, and their slightly less otherworldly but equally impactful adventure involving a hacked drone.
So no demons this time, but a different kind of potential trouble. Max and Anya's initial reason. It's that classic teenage mix, right? Boredom and a little bit of mischief. They hack a drone for kicks and decide to use it to spy on their history teacher, Mr. Benson, out at a deserted quarry.
And the story mentions Mr. Benson's alleged blackmailing tendencies, which adds this little layer of, like, rebellious justification to their plan.
Right, a bit of perceived justice maybe, high-tech prank style.
Exactly. But then Anya, in that classic teenage way of just pushing boundaries, suggests they spice things up, push the drone to its absolute limits.
Uh-oh. You can probably guess what happens next.
Yep. The inevitable. They push the drone too far, the connection drops, and crash. Somewhere near the quarry.
And their initial reaction seems almost casual, doesn't it? Sort of, oh, wow, that was fun while it lasted. They don't seem to grasp any wider implications at first.
Not at all. But this is where the good and the good crash really comes into play.
Yeah.
Fast forward a few days, and their small town is in an absolute uproar.
Okay.
News crews everywhere, local news website plastered with headlines yelling about government cover-up exposed, all coming from something found at that same deserted quarry.
Whoa. So there's this total disconnect between their seemingly minor act of teenage rebellion and this major news story breaking. The quarry, which they just saw as a secluded spot for drone games, turns out to have been housing a massive signal jammer, part of some secret government project.
Exactly. The presence of something like that in a small town raises all sorts of questions, right? Secrecy, surveillance.
Definitely.
And then the penny drops. Max and Anya's crashed drone didn't just, malfunction and fall. It somehow, in its accidental fiery demise, managed to damage a critical part of the signal jammer.
No way.
Yeah, inadvertently blowing the whistle on the whole operation. The timing and the precise location of their crash were absolutely crucial.
Wow. That really highlights how seemingly tiny actions can trigger these massive unforeseen consequences. They were just looking for some fun, maybe a bit of dirt on their teacher.
Right.
And they accidentally stumble onto a secret with potentially huge implications for their community, maybe even beyond.
And the potential fallout for Max and Anya themselves. It's pretty significant, isn't it? I mean, it's probably only a matter of time before someone connects their drone to this whole exposed secret.
Yeah, they're basically on the verge of becoming, as the story puts it, infamous instigators of small-town chaos.
Quite the title.
Indeed. They've gone from mischievous kids to accidental whistleblowers. It raises that question of responsibility, doesn't it? When the unintended consequences of your actions are just so huge, will they be seen as heroes who expose the truth, or just troublemakers who mess things up?
Their reaction, though, is priceless. Despite the potential for serious trouble, they seem mostly kind of thrilled by it all, even joking about Mr. Benson's promised extra credit.
Classic.
It's that classic teenage blend, right? Slightly detached amusement, maybe not fully grasping the gravity yet, but the core idea for listeners here is how this seemingly trivial act of mischief can just unexpectedly unravel hidden truths and completely flip the script.
It really makes you consider the interconnectedness of things, how even the smallest actions can create ripples that just spread way further than you'd ever intend. Their little bit of fun inadvertently pulled back a pretty big curtain.
So, there you have it. You've just taken a whirlwind pit stop through two incredibly different, yet equally wild, flash fiction stories.
A real roller coaster.
From a demon-battling cat who becomes a town legend to a crashed drone that accidentally exposes a government conspiracy. These tales really underscore the wonderfully unpredictable nature of, well, everything.
Absolutely. In Cat vs. Demon, the hero is the least likely character imaginable, right? A seemingly indifferent cat. It kind of prompts us to think about where we look for heroism and whether it always comes in the package we expect.
Yeah, definitely. And with Good Crash, you have these two teenagers driven by boredom and a bit of playful rebellion who stumble upon a secret that rocks their whole town. It really makes you wonder about all the hidden narratives unfolding around us all the time, doesn't it? Just waiting for some accidental nudge to come out.
Indeed. These stories remind us that the extraordinary can often be found hiding within the ordinary. And sometimes, the biggest changes come from the most unexpected sources.
We hope these flash fiction pit stops have sparked your imagination, give you some truly bizarre and thought-provoking tales to consider. What resonated most with you in these stories?
Yeah, what kind of unlikely heroes or accidental discoveries might be happening in your own world right now?
Maybe think about the element of chance, too, in both stories.
That's a great point. In one, a random cat just appears at a perfect moment. In the other, a reckless drone crash leads to this huge revelation. It makes you ponder the role of randomness in shaping events, in our own lives.
Absolutely. We'll rate and follow you, Mother Truckers, podcast for more captivating mysteries from the world of flash fiction. We'll keep digging into the wildest tales you send our way. Until our next pit stop, keep your eyes peeled for the truly unexpected.